Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mayor Mike, and this is another segment of Ask the Mayor. That's where the residents of the town of East Hartford send in questions via their website Monday through Friday, and then we tape a segment on Wednesday, and that's posted to social media. Today we have 5 additional questions for Ask the Mayor, and those are submissions 33 through 37. So submission number 33 comes from Rich. Has there been any interest on anyone's behalf in developing the plaza at Silver Lane across the street from Aldi? So the answer to that is, Rich, if you were around on January 19th, the mayor's office, myself, put out what we call a control tower presentation. And the number one enemy of the town of East Hartford was the Silver Lane Plaza, the plaza that you're referring to. The short answer is there's nobody interested in buying it, but the town is interested in acquiring it. We are currently proceeding on 2 paths. Path number 1 is to negotiate with the owner. There's a $4.5 million assessed value to that particular property, or actually market value. That's what the owner not necessarily would like to get, but that's the appraisal of the property. So the town is working with the owner to see if in any way, shape, or form we can acquire that. I've set a self-imposed date of September 30th, 2022 to have that under town control. Concurrently, the town is working with an outside agency, a consultant called Goldman & York, and they're putting together a plan so that if and when the town is able to acquire that property, we know what the highest and best use would be. So the short answer is the private market is not interested in that property, but on behalf of the town of East Hartford, we are. We think it needs to move forward quickly so that we can restabilize the Silver Lane area and begin to really see the redevelopment of that area, starting with the Silver Lane Plaza. So that's number 1. Question or submission number 34 comes from Ann P. And she asks a multiple part question. Are the blight inspectors still working? Does blight only apply to front yard spaces? And she mentions they have a neighbor with several cars in the backyard. Backyard's completely overgrown, and she wonders if there can be anything done about it. So, Ann, I would tell you there's a program called Q Alert. You can get that on your phone. You can download it from the Apple Store, or you can go on the town's website. That's basically a program that you can punch in the date, you can punch in the issue, and then you could punch in the address, and then it'll be sent to the right people in town hall. In this particular case, I'll be really candid with the viewing audience. The town of East Hartford is not doing a very good job on blight. We're trying hard, but we're not seeing the results, at least the results that I'd like to see the town enjoy. Part of that is because we're understaffed. We have 2 open positions. There's a total of 3 plus 2 part-timers, so technically a total of 5. We only have 1 of the 5 positions filled. That is a supervisor who recently was promoted into the position. And within the last couple of months, we filled the part-timers. So we're going through a little bit of growing pains. I'm getting personally involved in the chasing of blight. There's quite a few things that we need to do, and we'll continue to work on that. In terms of your question, while we continue to stabilize the department, hire for those open positions, and go after the blight, please either go on to Q Alert and put in that address, or call my office at 860-291-7201 and report the address to us. We'll put it in Q Alert. That'll get the blight inspectors out there to start the process. I think people also have to realize when you talk about blight, there's a specific process that's been created by ordinance. Sometimes when we get information about a property that's blighted, the only thing we can do as a first step is send out a letter. That often takes a week to 10 days, and then they have 30 days to basically remediate the problem. So while you're frustrated by it, we're equally frustrated because we've got 30 to 45 days before we really see any progress. And in a lot of instances, we don't see that progress, so that we have to send another letter and begin finding the property. So just a little bit of inside baseball on what the process is. But I encourage you to either go on Q Alert, report the address, or call my office, report the address. Submission number 35, or our third question for the day, comes from Joan. They live on Forest Street. 2 years ago, there were signs posted all along the street, including right by her driveway, stating that there would be road repairs on the street and they would start soon. Everyone was very excited. There have been a question about local roads being repaired all over town, in Forest Street, which I agree with, really needs it. COVID swept down and the signs disappeared overnight. No repairs were ever done. The road is so damaged. What is happening? So I checked with Doug Wilson, our town engineer. He did not recall that there were signs out there. And he also said, while we know the road is very damaged, it's one of the last large arterial roads that needs repair. And Doug has that in the queue for 2023. Now, Joan, don't panic for the moment. I do live in that area. I'm going to redrive it. I think at a minimum, we owe the path or the portion around the curve where it's really messed up. I think we at least need a patch, even if the road is going to be completely redone in 2023. But allow me to put that question aside for now. I'll give an update next week. But let me drive the whole road from Forbes to Oak, just to make sure that the section I'm talking about is the only one in immediate needs of repair. I'd also suggest Q Alert again. That's again, a place where you want to drop in the name of any cross streets or the address so that we can get out there and fix specific portions of it until we can get the whole road engineered, designed, and paid for. So that's the short answer to the longer question. Submission number 36 comes from Irene, and it's related to the survey we're concurrently doing related to school traffic issues. And Irene makes a suggestion regarding the problem of traffic outside schools at dismissal. She suggests the town create a separate student pickup lot monitored by town police. And I went back and reread this, and what Irene is saying is some common area in town where all the children are bused to it, and then their parents can pick them up from there. My one concern, we're going to add this into the ideas that we receive for the overall suggestions, but my one concern is adding additional buses, which are something like, $1,000 a week or even more, would cause the school board's budget to go up. And we also have a responsibility to keep control of the children once they get on the bus and until they get dropped off. So I don't know if we would face a liability issue with respect to letting kids off the bus at a common point. But it's a good suggestion. We will add it into the hopper with respect to the other ideas we're getting from residents. Submission number 37 comes from Judith. She's a resident of Cambridge Drive, and with the permanent closure of the 5B ramp, she'd like to know what will happen to the west end of Cambridge. It's her understanding that the area and the island that divides the east-west traffic along the state belongs to the state. Will this revert to town ownership? Will the island divider remain? Or will Cambridge be realigned to a simple two-lane street? She always thought the island was a nice feature for the residents, and once the Route 2 widening project is complete, what types of landscaping will be placed on the old ramp area? So I have a two-part answer for you, Judith. First, I reached out to Doug Wilson, our town engineer, and Doug reminds me that the west end of Cambridge, including the island, are all town property. So that's good. Doug also said he believes the island will remain with any vegetation that exists now, and the ramp would be planted with grass. The current DOT plans related to Route 2 indicate that the island may be removed. Now, hold on, because then Jim Arsenault, who works for Doug, weighed in. And he's been in touch with DOT, and he said the thing that DOT is noting is that the island is the town's, and that the trees on the island will remain. And Jim did confirm that beyond grass seeding for both the on and off ramps, there'll be no other vegetation. So Judith, long story short, the road has been softened in that corner. The island with the trees will remain. The DOT widening project will add some sidewalks, And at the end of the day, both the on and off ramps will simply be, the concrete or asphalt will be removed, and it will be returned to somewhat of a grassy, excuse me, a grassy area. So that is today's 5 questions. I'm Mike, speaking to you from the mayor's office, and we look forward to more questions in next week. Take care.